My lords, the prophet Abraham, after whom these accords are named, is remembered 5 times a day in the prayers of devout Muslims. He's a towering figure in Islam. He has the title Khalilullah, friend of God, and he's seen as the father, the ancestor of Moses, who watches over our proceedings stony-faced, of Jesus and of the prophet Muhammad. But he, of course, himself is not seen as Christian or Jewish or Muslim. He's rather a sort of primordial monotheist who lives instinctively within divine law and recognizing divine justice. In the Jewish and by extension the Christian traditions, the salient fact is that he is a wanderer who settles down. Then spake Abraham unto the sons of Heth, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a burying place with you that I may bury my dead out of your sight. And it seems to me that the return of Jews to Israel was, if you like, with an overriding wish to be welcomed home, to have nothing more than peace with their neighbours. And finally, that prospect is on the horizon. It's a great cosmic irony that just as Israel is improving its relations with its Arab neighbours, it's worsening its situation with many Western and European countries, but that is a topic for a different debate. I think these accords came about because other Arab states realized that it was no longer feasible to give an effective veto to the most hardline elements in the Palestinian leadership. They'd seen that even when offers were made, as under Ehud Barak or under Ehud Olmert, that would have given effectively 95 or equivalent of 100% with land swaps of the territory, with control of East Jerusalem, that still that wasn't enough. And they decided to go further, over the heads, if you like, of some of the Palestinian leaders, but in the interest of Palestinian people. And that creates a new situation and a new opportunity. If Israel will now have the imagination and generosity to grasp it, and if Palestinians will come on board with the process. Now, I'm not saying for a moment that this is easy, but my lords, imagine a situation where there are no physical barriers around the Palestinian territories, where that country can be integrated into the world economy, where it can trade its way to prosperity, an embourgeoisement of Palestine, if you will, where you will have a propertied class that won't tolerate lawlessness, that won't tolerate freelance rocket launchers, that will want to remain on good terms with its customers, most of whom will find themselves in Israel. As Milton Friedman said, there's nothing like trade to make people who don't get on, get on. Now, I appreciate that taking down the barriers to get there is not an easy thing. But isn't it worth the effort? Isn't it worth at least considering the Palestinians as an entity capable of making their own decisions about whatever it is, whether they want confederation with Israel or confederation with Jordan or whatever, but at least recognizing them as a unit. Surely Abraham has buried enough of his dead out of his sight.
My lords,